We took our evidence to a barrister who specialises in fraud cases. His opinion was that this was fraud, plain and simple.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the most significant scams from the entirety of UK history.
One said that her boss had started mining the cryptocurrency and amassing coins just for fun.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 10. Donald Crowhurst.
In April 1968, the Sunday Times announced the first non-stop, single-handed round-the-world yacht race.
This scammer was born in 1932, then in the 60s pursued his dreams of creating a successful electronics company. To do this, he needed money, so he thought up a cunning plan to win a round-the-world yacht race in 1968.
The spotlight was on Crowhurst from the outset. Not only was he the last to leave, but he'd become a local celebrity.
Unfortunately, his boat was pretty pathetic, with constant leaks, meaning he didn't stand a chance.
I feel a bit of a Charlie, actually, sitting here with this BBC tape recorder, whirring away, taking down everything, I have to say, faithfully and revealing it for pure and absolute nonsense.
Instead of sailing around the world, he secretly hid in the Atlantic Ocean, but lied to race organizers about his progress. The story ends tragically, with Crowhurst struggling immensely with the isolation, then sorrowfully taking his life in 1969 before the race's conclusion.
If I stipulate of my own free will that by learning to manipulate the space-time continuum, man will become God and disappear from the physical universe as we know it.
Number 9. Nick Leeson.
But Nick Leeson was also a very strange man. He had an extraordinary ability to manipulate and deceive those around him. This is his story.
In the 90s, Nick Leeson worked as a derivatives trader, but wasn't exactly good at it, since he caused Barings Bank to collapse. It was Britain's oldest merchant bank at the time, having been founded in 1762.
On the surface, he appeared just like everyone else in this new world. A boy from the suburbs who wanted to be a trader.
Leeson worked for them in the early 90s, then he began gambling on Japanese markets, which was not what he was paid to do.
He was acting under orders from both the bank and its clients. If the market moved the way they had predicted, they made money. If it didn't, their losses mounted rapidly.
He ended up losing Barings hundreds of millions, but reported his losses as profits, making them believe everything was okay. They discovered his fraudulent activities in 1995, but by this point, the damage was done. He'd lost the company roughly £827 million, and they went bust the same year, with Leeson getting sent to prison in Singapore for his misdeeds.
Barings is facing bankruptcy after one of its traders lost nearly £400 million on dealings in the Far East. He has now vanished.
Number 8. The LCF Ponzi scheme. London Capital and Finance was a company that raised millions of pounds from investors via mini-bonds. These are high-risk investments, but in this scenario, they were way riskier than usual. That's because LCF turned out to be a Ponzi scheme, according to the High Courts. They ended up having to pay the old bondholders with money from their new bondholders, a scheme that eventually blew up in their faces. The court found they used this money for lavish luxuries, such as sports cars, holidays, properties, and also they apparently donated large portions to the Tories. Number 7. £53 million benefit scam.
Tens of millions of pounds stolen from the government in an industrial-scale fraud.
Universal Credit is intended to support people struggling to find work, but some people go a step too far and steal way more than they should get. The most prolific example of this was perpetrated by 5 individuals in the 2010s who created thousands of false claims,
putting in thousands of fake claims for Universal Credit. They used forged documents, stolen names, and would put the same claim in over and over again until successful.
They'd steal people's identities or create new people entirely, letting them steal over £50 million in total.
When we searched their homes and their business addresses, we did find evidence of a lavish lifestyle. For example, Nikolova had £750,000 in cash
The group then laundered the money so they could spend it on luxury cars and designer clothes. All 5 involved were caught in 2024, and the group got over 25 years in jail for their years of treachery.
This is the biggest type of benefit fraud we've ever had before in Britain.
In total, they claimed more than £50 million.
Number 6. Poyais. In the 19th century, Britain's colonial empire was at its peak, leading many Brits to move abroad to its overseas possessions. This led Scotsman Gregor MacGregor to come up with his infamous Poyais scheme. He told hundreds of people that he was the Prince of Poyais, a fabricated nation in Central America. MacGregor then sold people land certificates for his fictional country and sent quite a few of them on their way there. He even stole their money and converted it into Poyaisian dollars. The settlers ended up in present-day Honduras, where they set up a camp and waited for Poyaisian authorities who never arrived. Many were eventually saved by a British schooner, but many more didn't make it out alive. Number 5. iSpoof.
This is the moment a £100 million criminal empire crumbled. 35-year-old TJ Fletcher is arrested by police after the biggest fraud operation in British history.
Operation Elaborate was a massive undertaking that lived up to its name, being Britain's largest ever fraud investigation. Its target was the website iSpoof, which let people make phone calls impersonating legitimate organizations.
I will be showing you how to call any number worldwide from any caller ID using iSpoof.
Criminals would use it to scam people for millions of pounds, pretending they were places like banks, then convincing them to give them sensitive information.
Various price plans were offered depending on the level of deception required, all of which earned Fletcher alone nearly £2 million.
Police ended up shutting the site down in November 2022 after over a year of investigating. Over 100 arrests were made, including the site's administrator, who ended up getting a 13-year sentence in the slammer, beginning in May 2023.
Police uploaded their own spoof, mimicking Fletcher's marketing style to warn those using his services.
You made a bad call. The police will be seeing you soon.
Number 4. The Crypto Queen.
Police! Caught in bed, the Chinese woman at the center of the UK's biggest ever cryptocurrency seizure.
Chen Jimin is originally from China, where she became absurdly wealthy for her crypto Ponzi scheme. Her company managed to accumulate over £4 million from investors, promising people astounding 300% returns every year.
Investors like Mr. Yu saw Chen as the genius behind the company's incredible success. Here, a group of investors hold up a flag declaring their love for her.
It also became a bit of a pyramid scheme, primarily targeting the elderly. She then turned it into Bitcoin to cover her tracks, but the police eventually caught on, so she fled to Britain. In London, she began renting a mansion and then tried to launder her money through expensive properties.
Using Bitcoin to fund a lavish lifestyle proved difficult, as she found out when she tried to buy this home worth £11.5 million.
This didn't work at all, as she couldn't explain where her immense wealth came from. This caught the attention of the police, who raided her home and seized £5 million of Bitcoin, but she wouldn't be caught until 6 years later.
DC Ryan's team also found a document in which Chen set out her dreams and ambitions, all carefully itemized and costed, some of them running into the millions of pounds.
Number 3. The Captain Tom Foundation.
Captain Tom's daughter has been forced to watch as a huge demolition digger has arrived at her luxury spa as it continues to be torn down.
Captain Sir Thomas More became a celebrity in 2020 for raising money for charity during COVID. He raised millions of pounds, but sadly passed away in February 2021 at the grand age of 100.
Sir Captain Tom raised millions for the NHS during lockdown as a centenarian walked laps of his garden.
In 2020, the Captain Tom Foundation was established in his name, but it became super controversial. His daughter, Hannah Moore, ran it and used the charity's fund to build an illegal spa.
Hannah Ingram Moore, the daughter of Captain Tom, sprung to fame after a luxury spa she built in the war veteran's name was deemed illegal.
It was also found to be pretty poorly run, with the funds being wildly mismanaged. This charity came under intense scrutiny, and then Hannah was disqualified from ever being a charity trustee trustee again. Now the charity basically doesn't exist, being currently named the 1189808 Foundation.
The council issued an enforcement notice last year requiring the demolition of the unauthorised building. They have until Wednesday the 7th to destroy the spa.
Number 2. COVID loan fraud.
6 years since the pandemic, the UK is still paying the price for tackling COVID-19 and the fraud that came with the unprecedented government spending to prop up the NHS and the economy.
When COVID hit, many of us couldn't work any longer, so we had to be supported by government furlough schemes. Unfortunately for the government, these schemes had a ton of cracks, and they lost over £10 billion to scammers. Experts warned then Prime Minister Rishi Sunak about the potential for fraud, but he didn't take their advice fully on board.
The COVID Counter-Fraud Commissioner, a man called Tom Hayhoe, who ran an NHS trust during the pandemic, has found that £10.9 billion is estimated to have been lost to fraud and error in business support schemes, including...
This led to people taking advantage of the schemes in the exact ways Rishi was warned would happen. Many individuals have since been arrested, with investigations still ongoing, meaning the full extent of the scams is yet to be seen.
Now, of that £10.9 billion, around £1.8 billion has been recovered, but he concludes the state will never get the rest back.
Number 1. The premium rate phone-in scandal.
A young girl visiting the studio was taken aside, handed a mobile phone by the BBC, and told she was about to become a Blue Peter competition winner.
Taking out a top spot is the phone-in scandal from the 2000s, where broadcasters were taking millions from customers using fraudulent methods. Channels would hold various phone-in competitions, which would cost quite a bit to call and enter.
The show takes tens of thousands of calls every day, and they cost well over £1 a time.
Unfortunately, for eager viewers, they had no chance of winning, as they'd finalise the results early or just straight up fake the winners.
Lines may have closed at midnight, but according to an email within this information, the winners were chosen an hour before that at 11 p.m.
Tons of fines were handed out by Ofcom for these breaches, with the largest being given to Anton Deck's Saturday Night Takeaway, which got fined an astonishing £3 million. That was only half of how much they were estimated to have taken though, with further estimates saying the whole scam amassed a total of £18 million.
I must have phoned 50 or 60 times. I did not get through once, and I was unaware that every time I rang I was being charged 75p for it.
Did you already know about all of these scams? And can you think of any others that were worthy of a mention? Let us know in those comments below.